entertainment, current events, and Hollywood. Don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators Today. Today, we have a special guest.
My name is Frank Delour. Hello, everyone.
Welcome, welcome. I love going back to the beginning. I always say at the beginning charts our trajectory in life, our little habits we pick up along the way, follow us into our adulthood. So tell me a little bit about your childhood. What was that like? And, how did you find your way into doing the things that you're doing now?
My childhood, I had a high exposure to music due to my father's love for music. So I grew up as a kid listening to everything from Marvin Gaye, Isley Brothers, the Eagles, Rolling Stones, a wide array of music, even Jimi Hendrix. So I naturally grew up with an affinity for music due to exposure every weekend. My dad would be in his lazy boy chair, chilling on Saturday morning, just playing records all day. So that was my initial exposure to music. I never thought about being a musician once until I was a grown man. I went to school to be an engineer, actually robotics. I was a double engineering major, mechanical and electrical engineering at Howard
Wow.
University. So I was studying with this rich kid from Michigan, and I went to pick him up at his dorm room one day, and he wasn't ready. So he said, "Hey, just come in and hang out for a second." And when I went in, I saw keyboards, turntables, drum machines, etc. And he was like, "Oh, let me show you this real quick." So he showed me a Roland 707, which is a classic beat machine that was used on early hip hop records with Eric B. and Rakim, KRS-One, Scott LaRock. Loved this machine. He used a lot of it with BDP. And he basically said, "Here, I don't use this. You can borrow it." So at that moment, something just grabbed me. Every day after engineering class, all I did was make beats every single day. And I stopped, hanging out in college. Everybody's going out to drink and party. And I was like, no, I'm good. So that's how it all started. And making beats led me to writing. And then that led me to say, okay, now I've got drum beats and I've got lyrics. I need music to go on these beats. So then that led me to sampling in the beginning and manipulating sampling and so forth. And over a course of about 5 years, that evolved into producing my first commercially viable record, which I dropped independently.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I pressed out 3,000 copies. The record got picked up by an independent distributor and house music label called Maxi Records. And one of the key things that happened was a very famous person bought my record. So that famous person was Jelly Bean Benitez, who discovered Madonna, produced her first album, and also produced half of Whitney Houston's first album.
Wow.
Now, ironically, I was a waiter at his wife's restaurant at the time. So he found me there and, he gave me my first real remix for a major label. So that is 1994. Yes.
That's incredible. Wow.
Yes.
I love those little serendipity, like those, moments where just things align so perfectly.
Yes.
That's incredible. And I love what you said, independently. How hard was that?
Me being my own worst critic throughout my career, I was constantly networking and so forth and just developing my skills. And I didn't want to put anything forth until I felt it was commercially viable, right? So by the time I had that record ready, I had some relationships. So it wasn't that difficult to secure distribution. Once they listened to the record and said, "Yeah, we'll distribute this," there was nothing to lose for them to distribute it. I already manufactured it. All they had to do was send it out to stores and collect the commission off of that. So anything they didn't sell got returned to me. They didn't lose anything. So they, ran it through the pipeline, and I sold 2,700 out of 3,000 copies.
That's incredible. I mean, nowadays, I mean, I think that's incredible because I feel like independently is such a lot of people think that well, it is hard. It's a hard thing to do, especially when you're going against major artists, major lineups on the Billboard charts or 100s. And the fact that you did that and still sold records just tells me that you know what you're doing, and you're just talented at what you do. And which brings me to this awesome this project that you have now. I played it, and I just immediately felt good. Like I wanted to dance. I felt like, good energy. It gave me
Yeah.
such great energy. Tell me about, creatively, like your creative choices with this particular song. And like what was the process like in making it? Because it's so fun. It's like you want to get up and dance. Like I felt cool automatically.
Well, thank you. Thank you. The point was to make an uplifting, positive energy record, right? So Aya is a culmination of probably all of my releases for 2025. And I wanted to end the year on a high energetic note, right? So as you've heard the record, you see it builds in layers. And you think you're there, and then there's one step left, right?
Right.
So I encompassed what I had done already in previous productions as far as the smoothness and so forth. And then I just wanted to take it up to a peak hour set record. So that was the goal behind Aya, and maintaining the positive energy vibe, because I'm a practicing Buddhist. So I
Nice.
kind of had to abandon the misogynistic music and all that stuff to be true to my practice. So that's why Afro House aligned up so much with me.
Yeah.
It allowed me to just keep it positive every time, So
That's
that's how
awesome.
it was born. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, and I'm curious, when it comes to when you're in the like are like when you get certain sounds and certain things, are you making all those sounds yourself? Are you going to certain people creatively, like as far as like suggestions, or are you doing like everything yourself?
I'm doing everything. I'm doing
Wow,
everything from the production,
that's incredible.
writing, the songwriting, the arrangement. I do the engineering. I'm a mix engineer, so I do the mix
Wow.
downs. I do the mastering. I do all edits, extended radio. I do everything. I'm a one-man shop, so I'm self-contained completely, start to finish, from idea to finished product. Yeah,
That's incredible. Holy
thank you.
crap. It sounds insane. Like I was like, holy crap. I was thinking like there has to be like, I mean, the sounds are just like on like some nut like world. It's just so good. And like the lyrics and the vocals are very kind of haunting. Was that something that you were looking to do, like
Yeah,
vocally?
for me, I mean, if it's not in English, it's very important for me for the vocals to have that permeable effect, So that's what I look for in singers, especially if it's non-English. If I'm writing a song in English, then of course, the words dictate, but I still look for that emotion to be conveyed in the tonality. So for me, it's always about tonality, permeable vocals, things you feel. I like to make records that people feel more than hear.
I
You
like
hear it,
that.
but I want people to feel it. So that's important to me. And I'm not a trained musician, so I produce by ear. So, I think with that being said, it's always been about feeling, for
I
me
like
in the
that.
process, what feels right.
I like that. I read something that you said that what you said about feeling, and you wanted the record that could rock a crowd during peak hours, right? How do you balance energy and emotional intention with producing when you're
Um,
producing something?
it's tricky, because once you get to the climactic part of the record, you have to make sure you continue the continuity of what came before it, right? So you can't just come with some brash sounds that don't line up with what was there before, what preceded that, right? And
Right.
that part of the record is always takes me a little more time, because it's the climactic moment. It's like after the hook goes and then the height of the beats, right? So that part of the record takes me more time to just make sure I have it right. I usually do about 3 versions of that section, or I just keep doing versions of that section until I feel that's the one. Sometimes that section comes in quickly, sometimes it takes a little bit more time.
How you know when something when the record feels powerful enough, like I'm such a person that's like super, I'm a perfectionist, so I like to do things over and over again, and I'm like, no, scrap that, let's do it again, I know I can do better. But sometimes it's like I don't want to overthink things, and I think sometimes I could get in my own way of like the creative process. So
Yes.
how do you know, like, when something is like, okay, this is it, I'm not gonna touch it anymore?
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that because when I was signed to Island Records, which is a commercial label, now I'm doing Afro House, which is more minimalistic music. So I had the habit of doing a lot production wise, right? Overproducing, right? Um, but now I really try to pay attention to less is more and just have the right elements working in and out. And like I said, I'm my worst critic. I'm my absolute worst critic. So I really pay attention to the fluidity of the feeling of that moment. Right? Does it feel like there's anything clashing? Does it feel like something is coming in abruptly? Does it feel like it's fluid and flowing and still going up energetically, or does it feel
Yeah,
like I'm forcing an instrument in there? You know,
I
so
love that. I love
I
that.
never
And
want.
I think you did a fantastic job, because when I listened to it, I was like, it's perfect. Like, it's so well produced.
Thank you,
The feeling that you want, it's there. Like I literally was like, I can rock this all day and today. If I'm
thank you,
feeling
thank you.
like low, I could just put this thing on and I'm feeling great. Like, it's like an automatic feeling. And that's, I think it's kind of hard for a lot of artists to do. Something, if it's either there or it's not. And I
Yes,
mean, you got it in spades for sure.
thank you so much. Encapsulating the emotion, and that's an important thing. In an industry like ours, you can get caught up trying to be like Mike. That record's hot, that record's hot, that's hot, that's hot. Let me try something like that, right?
Yeah.
But I it's important to know your market. Always important to know your market, right? And what are the parameters within your market, right? But I think it's also very important to stick to your vision creatively and not be too much involved with the market, but be market conscious, but still to maintain your uniqueness. I
Yeah.
think that's a balance that's hard for a lot of producers to find. But when you do find that balance, your authenticity shines through more.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
And speaking of balance, you know, you split your time between Miami Beach and New York, right?
Right.
And international destinations. How does that um, compilation, lifestyle influence your sound?
Well, that's a very good question because I make a point of when I travel to create. So
Okay.
what I like to do is capture the environment and let that be an inspiration to me. Aya was produced in October, sitting at an estate outside on a hillside overlooking Rome,
Oh,
the
lovely.
outskirts of Rome during the afternoon and sunset. So
Beautiful.
I sat there on my laptop with headphones for about 6 hours building the foundation of Aya in that
Wow.
environment, right? So I wanted to make sure I captured that there.
Yeah.
I've been here in Tulum for 2.5 weeks now, and I've already produced 4 tracks.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so because I wanted to make sure I captured this energy of the native Mayan land and, just what I'm feeling while I'm here on the ocean in the jungle.
Beautiful.
And let me tell you, I am like these next joints to follow Aya. I mean, I just like I thought I was like, okay, now what am I gonna do? But I ain't
Right.
worried now. I ain't worried about what's next because they're elevating, So yeah, I like to capture the environment. When I'm in New York, I have a studio. I have a studio in my home in Miami. So
Nice.
those are just places I'm really comfortable creating already. But I think there's something to be said about traveling around and having my mobile studio and capturing the mood and inspiration of that particular environment,
That's
still
awesome.
maintaining my integrity, and uniqueness.
Well, I love that. That's beautiful. You know, and I'm just curious of the crowd now, like the international crowd. I'm sure the energy is different than city crowds. I'm sure. Does it affect your sets at all?
Well, one thing I'm going to share with you is I've never planned a set in my entire career.
Oh,
So
wow.
I create organically every single time, whether I'm doing Vogue, Cartier, whoever it is, if I'm in a big house club, like, or if I'm here in Tulum, I custom tailor what I'm doing to that moment in that crowd. So I've been like that my entire career, even when I was playing a lot of hip hop in the early 90s, when I made my name in New York City, that's always been my way to do things. And I believe the trust in that process is what's given me this longevity, you know? But you
That's
got to trust
awesome.
you. You've got to trust yourself to do that. Most
Yeah,
DJs, they just line up all the hits. I'm going to play this and, you know, hit droppers. So there's a lot of DJs who are just hit droppers. They go
yeah.
what's hot and what everyone else is playing, and they go with that. But me, I'm emotionally driven as I am with producing my music. So I treat DJing the same exact way, you know?
That's beautiful. I love that. That's such a awesome way to look at it and go about it, versus like having something planned, versus like life just happening for you. And I think it's like you get more out of it, I guess, versus like things just like, okay, this is the set, da 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 da. You know,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
I
And
like
it's
that.
not it's not really me getting more out of it. We all get more out of it. The crowd,
Yeah.
myself. What's happening is more of a connection, a stronger connection between you and your environment, So it's just another level, a higher level of connectivity, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's the goal,
I love that.
of the DJ,
Definitely. Definitely.
Should
You
be
spoke it
anyway.
absolutely, it should be. Absolutely. I 1000% agree. You spoke openly about your conversion to Buddhism. How
Yes.
did that shift your relationship with music?
This is interesting because as you walk this spiritual path of evolving, right? You learn things, right? So once you know things, it's either you execute or there's willful ignorance, right? So there's a choice there. So I can't be like I'm a Buddhist and then be playing like I'm gonna go F these bees and
Right,
get
right.
pop these bottles and look at my car and jewelry. That is not aligned with, so if I was going to be authentic and about what I'm practicing, about what I say, I needed to omit, even though the success, there's a lot of money involved with playing that kind of music,
Right,
but
right.
I made the decision to abandon it because I needed, first and foremost, I got to stay true to self. And I want to be someone who embodies what they think, say, and do, you know? So I
I
want people
love
to
that.
know that they can achieve without selling out, you know? That's important for me. Like I've had, if you, my career is extensive, and you don't even have enough time on this podcast to go through the hills and valleys and the $1 million checks that were in my face and then got
Wow.
taken away, and you know. But one thing I can say is I maintain my integrity throughout my entire career, and I'd rather
Love
do the
that.
slow climb than the rocket blast off.
Yes.
You
Oh,
know?
that's so refreshing to hear. And especially a man saying that because, you don't hear these kind of conversations often with a lot of artists, because most people today are conformists. They just literally follow the crowd, whatever the crowd does and whatever's popular and whatever's working, just go with that. And I love that you're going the opposite direction. And I think, it's integrity is everything. And I love what you said about slow climb, because I think a lot of times people get just exhausted of the slow climb, and they're just like, oh my God, I just gotta sell out just so I can get X, Y, and Z happening. But
Hmm.
your spirit doesn't feel the same. So
No,
important.
it does not. And it doesn't forget. Your spirit never forgets, and easy come, easy go. The slow climb, fills you with knowledge and experience, right? I've seen so many scenarios, so many situations, and, I've learned so much, and I think, everything is in due time. People, I want it now, but you don't get it till you're ready. And if you get it before you're ready, you might not keep it, you
That
know?
part. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I I've gathered so much incredible wisdom and in the business and within myself in all of these years, right? So there's nothing that can detract me, from my base of where I've arrived to in my personal and professional evolution. There's nothing anyone can do. There's no check. There's no hot chick. There's no place you can offer me. There's nothing you can offer me that can knock me off my base because
I love
my
that.
vision is clear and there's only one thing I answer to, and that is the higher power of where my creativity is coming from. I
That's
feel I'm a
beautiful.
vessel of inspiration. I'm a deliverer. I'm the mailman, so to speak. Because these messages and what I'm doing is just a transfer. So with that being said, I can never let my ego rule me. When I
Love that.
understand that is the base of what I'm doing and my purpose. So um, I feel great about where I'm at now and where I'm going because the best is yet to come. And there's a power. I mean, a tidal wave is coming, you
I'm
know,
excited.
and I'm ready for it.
I
I'm ready
love
for
that.
all aspects of what that means and what I need to do to protect myself, secure
Yeah.
longevity, and be smart and strategic. You know.
I love that. That's beautiful. So refreshing to hear that. I was just gonna say, like, do you feel like nowadays in the music industry, just as a whole, do you feel like now things are getting better and are in favor of the artist? Do you think that the music industry is, you know, opening more opportunities for artistry, um, to excel
Well,
as an artist?
I think there's a flip side to that coin. I think yes and no. I think uh, one thing, the no side, the music industry has abandoned artist development, right?
Hmm.
So you have to develop yourself, right? And that
Yeah.
takes a lot more from the artist, like a lot more incentive and just hustle, and a lot more strategic thinking. So it was nice when they told you, oh, like Alicia Keys. I DJ'd her first album release party, right?
Nice.
And she was rough around the edges, like a tomboy, like from the hood, But obviously, Clive Davis got her some etiquette training and so forth, and now we have the queen that everyone sees, right?
Right.
It was very
Right.
articulate and very poised, and still the same amazing artist, but refined.
Right.
Now we don't have that. Labels don't have those departments anymore because there's been so many merging and cutting off. And now what major labels are looking for is just someone who's already done all the work and just, yeah, let me jump on the bandwagon. Here's a bunch of money, be in debt to us,
Oh,
right?
wow. Okay. Okay.
So that's kind of the major labels moves now. But I think it's great for the artist if you're willing to, work really hard, be very strategic, very smart, do multiple things like learn how to do content, visual content, aside from your music,
Yeah.
learn about marketing, learn
Mm,
about, where your niche is musically, who markets that, if it's music that DJs play like myself, find a good marketing company that can send it out to DJs globally. Find a good marketing company that works with that for streaming, visibility, and performance visibility as well. So you need to do that work now.
yeah.
As an artist, you don't just sit around and wait for the label to say, okay, go here, go there, do
Right.
this, do that. It was what labels used to do when I got in the game. Um,
Ah, okay.
so,
Okay.
so I think it's beautiful when artists can encapsulate all those things themselves. And for me, the freedom and control, I might work harder, yeah, but the freedom and control of my vision and keeping it 1000% pure for me is everything, you
Yeah.
know?
I love that. I love that. Yeah, because it's like you have that freedom, even though, because I could only imagine a major label would have a little bit more control. And I think, who was that? I saw some like interview, I think it was with Prince some years ago, and he was talking about um just, having your your masters, that you can own your masters, but a lot of these labels own people's masters,
Of
so
course.
it's like they die broke essentially, so it goes right back to the label. And I think that's what a lot of artists way back then, and probably still are, with major labels fighting now, I would
Right,
assume.
right. Yeah, because the labels, this is what the labels do. They want to keep you in debt. That's
Mm,
how they win. They keep you in debt. Before you recoup, they give you another advance. So they keep you in debt, right?
wow.
So that's what labels do. And not only that, the breakdown is this: 100%, right? Revenue, let's say 100%. So they give you a deal for 10 to 20 points percent of that, right? So the label takes 80, you take 10 to 20, right? In that 10 to
Okay.
20 is the artist royalty, and all the producers that work on the project royalty as well get split. So the artist gets most of it, producer will probably get 3 to 5 points. Artist will
Oh,
get
wow.
9 to 15 points, right?
Okay.
That's percentage. Now, out of that percentage that the artist gets, excluding the producer percentage, let's say the artist is getting 10%, just to make it nice and even. Everything the label gives you for recording, promotion, and advance, let's say they give you $500,000. They
Hmm.
recoup that $500,000, not out of the 100%, out of your 10%.
Yikes.
Out of your 10%. So you never really recoup, right? You got
Yikes.
to sell a lot of
A
music
lot of
to recoup
music.
that. So that's the breakdown.
Wow.
So that doesn't sound fair at all, does it?
No,
No.
no,
So the label has
no.
zero risk. And if you don't sell anything, you're a write-off. Boop, zero risk.
Yikes.
You're a loss.
Wow. So yeah, indie's the way to go. Do it yourself. That's what I say. Do it
Yeah.
yourself. You have that freedom to do and drop whenever you want to drop. I mean, yeah, thank you for sharing that, because I think a lot of people don't talk about these important things. As much as we love this industry, it's like there is a business side as well to know. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very important to know that side of
Oh
music
yeah.
and know where your money is going
Oh yeah.
and how to make it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a very uneven equation.
Wow.
To say
Wow.
I'm on Sony or I'm on RCA or I'm on, you know, artists need to make that show money. They need to do those live shows. So you got to
Yeah.
be a performer. You're really trying to eat, and don't go blow your whole advance on a house or a couple of cars because you never know when that next one is coming, if at all,
Right.
right?
If at all. That's very
If at
true.
all.
It's
So
very true.
you got to understand that. And now what the major labels are doing, because there's no more CD sales. See, now CD sales made labels millions of dollars because it cost the label 60 cents to produce each CD. right? They'd sell it to the distributor for $10. Then the distributor would sell it to Tower Records or whatever for 12, 11, 12, $13, right? So the label was making $9.40 profit off every CD,
Yikes.
right? And they're still giving you chump change to recoup your. So they're
Oh
winning, winning,
man,
winning. You sell a
that's
hundred
crazy.
thousand, 100,000 units, they just made you know, $1 million. You sell 100,000 units, they made $1 million, right? So you sell 100,000 units, but you made 10,000, and they gave you a $500,000 advance. They pocket $1 million. You only made $10,000 dent in your 500,000 advance.
Yikes. So you didn't really make that much money back.
You
Wow.
didn't make anything. You're still in debt. And
Anything. You're
meanwhile, they made $1
still
million
in.
dollars.
Oh yeah, they're great. They're sitting, and that's unfortunate thing about this thing. It's like, yeah, and it'll never stop, unfortunately, because it's they get people that don't know, that are not aware. So they create really big names, but it's like what
Right.
Jay-Z said, what's the point of being rich and dying broke? It's just no point of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, do it yourself. Absolutely. And you're a testament of someone who's, can make travel and create and do what they love to do on their with like just by your own principles and how you want to
Yeah.
do it. So thank you for being an inspiration to a lot of people because, I don't think a lot of people know how to do that, or know how, you know, what that looks like for them. So yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're
Seriously.
welcome. You're welcome. I would say to everyone out there that the consistency of your commitment is most important. The
Yeah,
consistency of your commitment is most important because what you think you might accomplish in a year might take 5. So the consistency to your commitment is what's most important. And the creator's always watching. Are you really committed? Do you really want this? Are you ready for this? What this means when you get it? So you got to have faith that you'll get it when the time is right. But in that meantime, you got to be consistently working for it,
I love
So
that. I love that. So true. So true. Ah, this was such a great conversation. I could talk to you all day. Where can people find your music and follow everything you have coming up and going on?
Okay, so probably the easiest one-stop shop is my Instagram page because then I have the links to my Spotify, my YouTube, my Apple Music, my website. You can get everything from my Instagram page. So that's simply Frank Delour with no spaces. FrankDelour. There I am right there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time and your amazing journey and just the wisdom that you and blessing our episode. I really appreciate this. This is
Oh,
really
I
fun. I had a great
appreciate the
time.
call and I apologize. Thank you for your patience for waiting for me.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh,
I
no
appreciate
problem. No
it.
problem. What's one thing that you would give on the last like 2 minutes of this, 3 minutes of this episode left? Would you say to those out there, what advice would you give to someone that wants to do music independently?
Um, like I said, consistent commitment. I would also say chase it for the right reasons. Don't chase it for the glory. Don't chase it for the status. Don't chase it for the money. Chase it for the love in your heart for music. With everything in life, I believe we should leave with love, and that includes being a creator. Your relationships, love for self, love for others, love for the planet, love for your vision for your future, right? So love means commitment, right? It's not just a quick, fuzzy feeling. Love means commitment. So lead with love in everything you do, maintain that type of focus, and you can't go wrong.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And yeah, come back anytime. This was so fun.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate
And
you having me.
thank you. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Later.